The situation with FEMA has somehow found a way to get even worse than it was. In the waning days of the federal obligation to assist with disaster preparedness and response, they find a way to put the American people behind not only like the donors or their desire to give tax cuts or whatever, but to literal foreign governments. And so here we're talking about the fact that any states and cities that do like a boycott of Israeli companies, the BDS movement that you've probably heard about, are gonna be denied funding for disaster preparedness. Because the Trump administration's position is, you owe more loyalty to corporations of Israel than they do to you, which is certainly a message to send to the American people, but they're sending it. And so grant notices were posted just a couple days ago by FEMA that said that applicants must comply with its terms and conditions. And when you dig into those, which they're hoping you will not, it includes certifying that they will not cut off commercial relations specifically with Israeli companies to remain eligible for assistance. It states discriminatory prohibited boycott means refusing to deal, cutting commercial relations, or otherwise limiting commercial relations specifically with Israeli companies or with companies doing business in or with Israel or authorized by blah, 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 Israel. And that is fascinating, right? Like you were probably assuming, oh, what they must have done is they've got some tricky wording where it turns out that they just mean Israel or whatever. Or maybe like they secretly want to stop you from boycotting Israel. So what they did is states can't boycott any country. Nope. It literally just says Israel. You can boycott Norway, you can boycott Madagascar, Vietnam can go F itself as far as your state is concerned, but not Israel. That one country you do not get to choose. And by the way, this is FEMA under Donald Trump. He's a Republican. What do Republicans believe in? Oh, states' rights. Oh, they love them some states' rights and free speech. You can't compel people's economic activity. Unless it's about an Israeli corporation, then screw you and your state's rights. Your state doesn't get to choose who they do business with, and you don't get to choose what corporations you do business with either. You have to provide money to Israel, or else come earthquakes, come floods, hurricanes, twisters, whatever, you might be screwed, okay? And we're not gonna help you. We're not gonna help you get prepared for it, and we're probably not gonna help you in the aftermath either. Because and this is not implication. This isn't me connecting the dots on a blackboard or whatever. There's no Pepe Sylvia here. They are literally putting Israel's commercial interests ahead of the interests of American states and cities. And many of these states and cities are likely to be blue, but not all of them. And even the ones that are almost certainly filled with 20 to 45% Republicans who are now SOL. Okay, as far as the Republicans in the federal government believe, like if you're like a good conservative living in Austin, if you're literally Alex Jones, you're screwed, buddy. If they decide to participate in BDS, that's what they're doing. And the thing is, like, I'm freaking out about this. A lot on the right are freaking out about this because Donald Trump doesn't seem to understand that his base does not understand why American interests are so often put behind the interests of the Israeli government. And one of them, and I don't like having to talk about her ever, I don't like having to give her credit, is Candace Owens, who tweeted a whole bunch about this, saying things like, denying Americans who won't support the genocide being conducted by your friends. Trump has fully betrayed America for Netanyahu, and if you cannot see that now, you are completely blind. Best 100 million Miriam Adelson ever spent. Talking about, again, this isn't just that he's doing this on behalf of the Israeli government, he's doing this on behalf of his campaign donors. He is bought like virtually every other politician in America. And she says, no matter how many times you say it, it is not racial discrimination to boycott a country in the Middle East. Israel is not a race. It is a country currently being run by murderous psychopaths who blackmail and control American politicians. Okay, I don't necessarily know directly about the blackmail or whatever, or the control, although we know that they provide a lot of campaign funding. not only from people whose interests are directly aligned with Israel, like the Adelsons, but also through AIPAC. They just buy politicians. They bought tons of them. They bought them cheap. They've, in some cases, bought them very expensively, but they have the money to do it. And basically the entire Republican Party is in that list, but an increasing number of Democrats are too. That's how you get to this sort of policy. And it is utterly unacceptable. And it is strange that one of the most outspoken people in this particular case is Candace Owens. She calls it an act of treason in this final tweet, that Donald Trump is doing this, but she is right. And I'm glad, because again, many MAGA people on Twitter are not gonna listen to me, particularly because I refuse to tweet, but they will listen to her. And we need people to point out what is going on. Like, it is so strange to me that there is barely any FEMA even left. There's very soon not gonna be FEMA at all. And yet, as one of the last acts of FEMA, they decide to make sure that Israel knows that they care about them more than they care about American states and cities. What a strange policy to pursue. Again, I don't have any proof of blackmail or whatever. For me, it's enough that they have been bought off. I guess that is the donations are just that effective, I suppose.